What's going on, Geeks and Gamers? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and we are here for the Gaming with Geeks podcast, episode 10. We have now made it to double digits despite everything. We're growing this thing each and every week. And today is a big day indeed because it's the week of The Last of Us Part 2. You know, the video that got struck on this channel because we talked about the spoilers, that Last of Us Part 2. I'm wearing my fuck Naughty Dog shirt because, yeah, fuck Naughty Dog and everything they have done to these characters and to this game. Now, we are joined with a couple familiar faces and one special guest today. So, Mark the Cyborg, why don't you go ahead and say hi to everybody?
Hello there, everybody. We have officially canceled Jeremy. You're welcome.
That's right. Though the world rejoices, Twitter celebrates, Raylos everywhere are happy. It's the best days of their lives because Jeremy has been canceled. And we're also here with Lethal Lightning, who just got off the interview of his life up to this point until maybe another interview could get set up. Lethal, what's going on, man?
I am having a fantastic day. I've also had some really good personal news, and I just got a crazy ass message from the guy that I just interviewed. I'll show you after the stream. It's just blowing my mind what he just said.
Wins all around for everybody today. Absolutely. And then our special guest for episode 10 of the podcast, Ace of Aces. Ace, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and just kind of let us know who you are real quick. Let everybody know who you are and how you became involved with Geeks and Gamers.
Everyone knows me as Ace. My real name is Matt. You can call me either or. I've been gaming pretty much my entire life. Former Army veteran. I found Geeks and Gamers pretty much at the beginning. I saw a lot of Jeremy's past videos, and someone I really enjoyed watching, someone I really agreed with. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hold on to it. And then I found out they were starting to do a Twitch channel. I was like, this is gonna be great, and been supporting ever since.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and we got Jeremy in the chat here. Ryan is almost at 14K subs. Yeah, it's flying, man. And the reason is because of The Last of Us 2. The Last of Us 2 is, you know, as much as it's absolutely destroyed some longtime fans of the game who thought that they were going to get something different, that told us those leaks are wrong, that told us we're lying to people. A lot of those people are now in tears after actually playing this game and realizing that we were right all along. Fuck Naughty Dog. Fuck Neil Druckmann. Fuck The Last of Us Part 2. The reaction of this has been pretty crazy. Mark, you guys know Mark. You know he's very even-keeled, almost robotic in his analysis of things. What have you seen? What has really blown you away as far as, is it the review bombing that was kind of expected? Is it the people's playthroughs that they're doing and they're reacting to it live? What has stood out to you about The Last of Us?
I think what's probably stood out to me personally the most has been the kind of the opposite of the review bombing, the Last of Us Defense Force. Like in all of the gaming groups I'm in on like Facebook and stuff, you've got these groups of people that are just full on being like, no, this game is incredible. Like, you guys have no idea. It's game of the year, best game of all time. And then like, I'll say like, yeah, well, I'm personally not playing it because I work for a YouTube channel that they illegally copyright struck. So even after I found out the leaks and wasn't impressed with the story choices, I'm not playing it because I hate the gays or anything like that. It's just because they specifically went out to hurt my place of employment, you could say. And people then freak out about that. They're like, oh, so whatever, like you broke copyright law and then they nailed you for it and now you're crying. And I'm like, no, I'm standing on principle to be like, yeah, I'm not going to play this game. I'm not going to give them money because like, I'm sorry. And I'm now at the point like, fuck Naughty Dog. I've been trying to avoid saying that for the most part because like I do like their games and I figured I would end up playing Last of Us 2, so didn't want to seem like a hypocrite. And I don't know, I'm at the point that everything I see about the game is angering me more and more. I've been watching a playthrough of it, so I'm now pretty aware of how the story plays out in context. I'm about 4 hours into an 11-hour playthrough, and it's a full play, so it's abridged, obviously. It's not like every second of the game, but I find myself mostly skipping between the gameplay scenes because it's just relatively low excitement stealth gameplay that's sort of the same over and over again. And I get to the story segments and they're well directed. The writing is a little uneven. And I have not liked some of the major events that we all kind of knew were coming. I think in execution, particularly the big golf scene, all I could think was like, okay, yeah, no, this girl needs to die by the end of the game because she's horrible. And I can't see that turning around, even if I see a bunch of her backstory. But I guess we'll see how it goes.
Oh, yeah. It's been crazy. And you brought up a great point that so much of what we're talking about right now is this. You said The Last of Us 2 defense force. And that's great because you're seeing it not only from fans who like, and I get that. I get being dedicated to something, but the blind faith is what's disturbing some of the time. And then you have the media as well saying, oh, well, gamers just aren't mature enough to deal with something. If you're complaining because of diversity, and it's like, no, we're not complaining because of diversity. And in fact, I saw this meme on The Last of Us 2 Reddit, which if you're not there, you really should be. This score is low because they hate LGBT and stories, effing homophobes. Well, you look at Life is Strange.
Life is Tumblr's at an 8.6. Look at that.
Exactly, 8.6. The Last of Us Left Behind, where you find out that Ellie is in fact a lesbian, 8.2 user score.
Which was very tastefully done and well.
It was very well done.
To point out, like everyone loved Left Behind for the most part. There were probably a few people that were like, "Oh, Ellie's a lesbian." They're like pushing the gay agenda. But if you actually play the DLC, it's like, well, I don't know. Like the way it's done is like actually pretty tasteful and like
absolutely
it's good. Like.
Exactly. And they have Detroit Become Human, where you obviously do have a couple scenes in there with same sex. No problems with the user score there. So that doesn't really fly in the same way that saying that, oh, well, you hate it because it's about women. That just doesn't necessarily fly when you look at these things that are all very similar to the critic scores. You can't use that. That's not why people are upset. People are upset because what they have done to these characters. Ryan's mini tabs are real. Yes, they are, Lyndon. So what about you, Ace? You were a big fan of the first game. How do you feel about everything that's going on right now?
Betrayed. I mean, as a huge fan of the first game, the very first game I believe was very well written. It was great for its time. Graphics were amazing. And for what I haven't personally played Last of Us 2 yet, so I can't really comment on the gameplay stuff. For what I'm seeing from the reviews, a very beautiful game from what I'm hearing. But the gameplay I'm hearing is lackluster back in 2013 original. But the way they did the story, the way they did Joel, the way they did it's just like, why? I mean, why would you destroy like one of the best story-based games out there? It was actually voted one of the best story games out there in the last 10 years, I believe it was. And why would you destroy it like that? I mean, I just don't get it, man. As one of those, like, I will play Last of Us the first one as many times as I can, but it's just, I had a feeling it was going to be ruined. I'm not going to lie. I had a huge feeling that The Last of Us Part 2. I have the same fear for Horizon Zero Dawn 2. I'm not going to lie. But The Last of Us, like, I had a feeling was coming. I was hopeful, but then of course 2 months out, I learned that
yeah. And we're going to talk about spoilers, guys. So if you're trying to not be spoiled, this probably isn't the stream for you. Just a fair warning. But yeah, go ahead, Ace. Sorry, I just want to say that.
I was not building any stories. I'm just like no spoilers. But what I was thinking is like from the gameplay I've seen, they take Joel completely out of character. They take Ellie completely out of character. I don't know who this Abby chick is, but I just betrayed. That's how I'll feel as a former fan. I mean, look at just like Disney, Star Wars, and Lucasfilm. So you just betrayed, 100% betrayed.
I think that's how a lot of people feel. Real quick, Jack Bauer, $2 super chat. Have PSVR and a joystick. Squadrons is your dream game. Well, we're going to get to talking about Star Wars Squadrons here in a little bit. That's awesome. Thank you, Jack Bauer, for the super chat. And Keaton Smith for £199. Fuck Naughty Dog, R.I.P. Joel. And obviously, listen, I don't know how people stayed away from these spoilers, to be quite honest. But if you did, Joel dies in the first 2 hours of the game. Joel dies, and it's the way he dies that I think people have a problem with. What say you, Lethal?
It's one of those things where, like, I remember when the leaks first came out, there was that thing of like, this can't be real. You know what I mean? Like, this is just so stupid. It can't be real. And I see a whole lot of people talking about how, people are just dead set against the death of main characters. I don't think that's true. I mean, killing off a beloved character has been done many times before, and it's been done in very respectful ways that have sent the character out. It doesn't necessarily have to be on a high note, but at least adds something. If you look at season 1 of Game of Thrones, when Ned Stark gets his head cut off, it pretty much started the whole story. It wasn't this major disrespect to the character. But the thing with Joel is that whole situation is just completely out of character with him. Joel wouldn't trust people like that. He wouldn't be dumb enough to say the things he does. He just wouldn't end up in that situation. Meanwhile, Ellie's doing freaky stuff with her interracial girlfriend and whatever they're doing over there on the couch. Meanwhile, Joel's getting his head bashed in with a golf club by some fucking Abby chick. It's just horrible. It's just horrible. But I don't understand this argument of just because he's a main character, you can kill him. It's been done. But why does it have to be done in such a horrible way where it just destroys the character? Like, I remember talking with my cousin who is a huge Last of Us fan. Like, to him, the world revolves around The Last of Us Part 1. And he was pretty dead set convinced from the announcement that Joel was going to die. But I think he assumed it would be in a much more heroic way. Like, I think a lot of people could get behind the idea of Joel dying, sacrificing himself so Ellie could escape from some situation or whatever like that. But to do a complete 180 character-wise and then get your head beat in by Abby, it's meme-worthy at best.
Yeah, and that is the thing, right? Like, if you're going to tell me going into it that Joel's going to die, okay, that's fine. Like we're seeing in the chat, Jade Shadow just said we don't have any issues with character deaths. The problem is what Joel should have done, the way he should have gone out is in a way that is defending Ellie. It is a way that is protecting Ellie. After they've gone through a journey, his sacrifice could mean something to her finishing whatever mission she had to do. That makes sense. But it's not shock value worthy. It's not subverting your expectations. And that's what it's all about across all forms of entertainment right now. I see Eric Maldonado Jr. saying, I'm not a spam. You literally are all the time, Eric. But
if I can add to that, I mean, a lot of people from the original game who were fans of the original game thought before Joel died, he would come clean about Ellie, what happened at the end of the first one. They thought, like, if he was going to die, that he would just tell her everything, and that would be the story of her coping with that, her knowing, that, how the first game ended pretty much. And the fact that truth never came to that whole story is basically gone. It just makes no sense.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of fertile ground for storytelling there. And when you have it be a father figure to like a surrogate daughter, saving her life kind of against her will, I guess is probably like the way that the last one ended. She was ready to sacrifice herself for the possibility of there being a cure to basically the zombie plague. It's fungus, but let's face it, it's zombies. And they're like, how does Ellie deal with things if she found out about that, like survivor's guilt? How does she deal with the fact that her being alive is the reason all these people are still getting affected, or possibly, and dealing with the uncertainty of what the Fireflies were actually going to do, what their chances for success for making a cure were. Like, there's so much there that you could mine to tell good news stories that that would be very specific to use those characters. Whereas it seems like instead they kind of just made it so that it's like, okay, boilerplate revenge story, like a beloved character dies, other character has to go kill their killer, and there's going to be some subversion because you also play as the killer. And I don't know.
Now, from what I'm hearing, again, I'm not sure if it's true, but spoiler alert, that Abby is actually, correct me if I'm wrong, is the daughter of one of the Fireflies that Joel killed at the very end.
Yep.
So, I mean, how, like, there's some random guy in the hospital you just kill and walk by, you shoot him in the face and just, like, how is that character good character development? I mean, was he the guy that he first killed when he went on his rampage to find Ellie out of the hospital room? I mean, was it in that
I think it's the I think it's the doctor who you like have to kill first. I think that's who it is.
The one who has the scalpel up. And is like,
ironically, if you just stand there and don't do anything, that guy stabs you.
Yeah.
If you refuse to shoot anybody, if enough time goes by, that person will just stab you in The Last of Us.
Yep.
So
you can shoot him in the leg and he dies automatically. You can shoot him in the toe, he dies.
Speaking of character development, we have someone who's been begging to be canceled for forever. He finally gets canceled and he celebrates, but then he's like, "Oh, please let me back on stream." Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, how are you doing?
I'm sick, but I wanted to be here because fuck Naughty Dog. And hey, Ace, glad to have you on, buddy. Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't take it. I told Ryan, I was like, dude, I'm sick. I don't fucking want it. But the moment you guys started bitching about Naughty Dog, I'm like, fuck, I gotta get on here and say fuck Naughty Dog. Fuck these motherfuckers. So anyway, I'm just here to be part of the discussion. So
just here so he doesn't get fined.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And it is, and I think that the worst part about this, you got something to share, Mark?
Yeah, it's just a meme that kind of it demonstrates the pretentious game developer. Oh, you can you have to kill this person to progress, but also so it's I see that dog right there. You got to kill it. Yeah, I don't want to. Well, you can't progress until you do. Fine, kills it. Wow, you killed that dog. Don't you feel bad? You made me kill it. You're a piece of shit. Fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play something else. Wait, get back here.
Exactly, and that's. And even with the dog thing, that's something that they came out. It got advertised. It's like, hey, you can kill dogs brutally in this game, and people are like, that's weird that you made that a facet of the game that you're marketing. And they're like, well, no, you don't have to kill the dogs. You don't have to do that. You can, find other ways. But no, there are parts you literally have to kill them. Which I don't care. I would literally, I think Az said it best. I would step on a baby's head in order to get 10 experience points in a game or something. I kind of feel the same way about that.
I don't have a problem. Like, look, I love dogs. I'm a big dog lover. I've never this never bothers me. Again, you have to kill dogs in Call of Duty. You know what I mean? We've done that 1,000 times with the perk that the dogs. You have to kill a lot of dogs. I think to me, it just kind of felt like, look, there's a lot of things to bitch about with The Last of Us and the way they're, making, a lot of their decisions. Killing dogs it's a zombie apocalypse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't find that to be a problem at all.
And especially in the COD games, it was like, you snap their neck and you could hear the and it'll go like, and you do it. So it was a whole lot more brutal than just shooting it.
It was also the most satisfying thing in the world because those motherfuckers were terrible to kill.
Yeah.
But I think that the worst part about this is how this game was marketed. And you can see right here, this article I've got pulled up. Naughty Dog has misled The Last of Us fans with swapped models. And there are several different iterations of this. We might as well just play these because I didn't fucking share my sound. So let me stop sharing my screen real quick and reshare it because you can't do it on the fly for some reason.
I don't know. I woke up to and I'll do this, and then I got a video I want to show you guys. So, but you go and do this, and I'll show you guys.
Nice. So the two biggest ones that I've played a couple times on my channel are here. If this isn't deceptive practice, if this isn't false advertising, then I'm not really sure what is. This is from the trailer right here. Oh, God damn it.
Boomer it again.
Well, no, it's fine. It's just not at the right point in time. Here it is. This is the one I want.
What the hell are you doing here?
You think I'd let you do this on your own?
Now, when you see that, if you're hyped for this game, if you're a fan of The Last of Us, I mean, you're really excited because you're like, wow, it looks like Ellie has some kind of mission she needs to go on. And Joel is there to fucking help her do it. That is what you are telling us. Yep. However, you get to it. This is what actually happens. Actual game.
hell are you doing here?
Damn. That is fucked up.
The same line. From you think I'd let you do this on your own? That shit never fucking appears from Joel in this game. That was specifically for the fucking trailer. They literally misled everyone. And when you even take a better look at it, you look at this picture, the staircase is the same. It's literally, they just put a model of Joel and zoomed in a little bit. It's the same house, the same staircase. This is never in the game.
Damn.
Disgusting.
Yeah, and I think that that is a moment that, especially like not people that are following all the leaks and everything, but just the normie fan of The Last of Us who like plays the one PlayStation exclusive that comes out every year they buy for their PS4 and they play it. That person is going to see that, being a big fan of the original Last of Us, and be like, all right, the dynamic duo is back. You're playing as Ellie this time, but Joel's going to be right there with you. I can't wait to play this game. And they might have placed a pre-order based on that. When you didn't have to do that, it's not like people wouldn't have ever wanted to play this game unless they thought that was happening. But it's clearly like kind of a lie. Like it's a little ridiculous that they did that.
Well, and JR says in the chat, misleading trailers are a standard practice. Kojima's a pro at that. There's a difference between misleading trailers. There's a difference between taking parts of your gameplay and matching it up in a different order, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's false manipulative advertising is what that is. That's manipulating.
Yes. What we see here are things that were specifically made for the trailer that are nothing at all to do with the game. Just like this. This is from the story trailer. Old Joel, old Ellie. But in reality, in the actual game, this is a flashback between young Joel and young Ellie. Same fucking thing here. Same fucking thing here. Same fucking thing here. This was not made for the game. It was specifically made for the trailers to get you to buy in to this relationship between Joel and Ellie, because that's what sold so many people in the first place.
Yep. Now look at this right here. So I'm assuming this came from PewDiePie's stream today. Krista sent me this video clip, and so obviously PewDiePie experienced the Joel in one already, and what that would do that would motivate anybody to go, okay, we're gonna kill this bitch. Yeah. So show me this right here. So I love this right here.
Oh, the guitar tutorial.
Abby's gonna die. Abby's gonna die. I hate that bitch. I hate that bitch. Abby's gonna die. Abby's gonna die. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. Abby's gonna die.
Her chords don't change.
That's hilarious.
I can't wait till he gets to the end. He's gonna be so fucking mad.
That was a nitpick on my part, but I'm just like, you can change which chord that you're playing at any given time, but her fingers don't change on the actual guitar. Like,
it doesn't matter about the fingers.
Guitar, that bothers me. Like, the fingers aren't important. Who needs fingers?
Dangerous Brian in the chat says, okay, I'm not sticking up for Naughty Dog, but most of the time they lied. They were trying to hide what happens to Joel. But
yeah,
but
you can lie by omission. You can do that by omission though. Just don't show scenes with Joel at any point past that point. If you're gonna use Joel in the marketing, show the scenes that are actually in it. Show the scenes from the flashbacks.
Yes, just show that. Like they specifically created those with the old model to make you think that Joel's gonna be a part of this story. Fucking Neil Cuckman himself, that cocksucker. Where is he at? Let's fucking pull up his fucking thing. Even yesterday, this fucking bitch has the fucking balls to tweet out and promote this shit.
Oh, are you talking about their user reviews?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this piece of fucking trash.
Oh, yeah.
As it launched, this baby's all cooked. Last of Us Part 2 is live worldwide. Endure and survive, y'all.
The comment section is hilarious, though.
Yeah, not Abby, not Ellie, but fucking Joel, who is in 2 hours of the game and gets fucking brutalized and massacred and has his character destroyed. Fuck you, Neil Druckmann. Cocksucker.
A similar thing would be if in the trailer for The Last Jedi, they showed the fight scene in the throne room against the Praetorian Guards, but it was Rey and Luke.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how pissed everyone would be when that happened? If all of a sudden it's like Kylo Ren's in there instead of Luke, and Luke has not a single lightsaber fight in the entire movie.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And you know, when we take a look at the scores, let's be real. Not all of the people who are scoring this game are playing the game. I think that's very clear.
Oh,
However,
absolutely.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
However, just because there are more negative than positive reviews doesn't mean that there's no fake positive reviews. There are plenty of fake positive reviews. There's ones in there that just say, I'm just here to say F the haters, go Naughty Dog, and with a 10. There's one that's like, I played this game. I thought it was a 9, but I'll give it a 10 to F the haters. Like, there are plenty of review bombing going on both sides, but this is a clear indication of how people feel about this game. Bless you.
And like I often will tell people, like, look, don't use Metacritic as a metric. Like Metacritic is like a little bit ridiculous because people can just go on and write a review of something that they don't actually know anything about. But it is a good metric for fan rage. Like, because you won't see a ratio of positive or negative to positive or positive to negative reviews like that unless there is a very large group of people that feel strongly in one direction or the other. It might not be a good representation of the actual quality of the game, but it is a good way to take the temperature of like what the community is feeling on something.
I mean, it's the only voice the community has, to be honest with you. They try to put it on Twitter. Look what happens. Jeremy gets canceled.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, you know, they'll sit there like Naughty Dog was one of the first major brands to actually utilize the function where you couldn't reply, which again, in an isolation, I totally understand, you know, that you didn't want people to spoil the game. Okay. I understand that. And in isolation, that makes perfect sense, but it's not isolated. There's a lot more going on. And, but yeah, it's, that's a good point though. I mean, look at me. I just shared a Scott Steiner meme and I can't tweet anymore now.
I mean, we used to be able to do it with Rotten Tomatoes, but Rotten Tomatoes decided to give that the boot too.
If Metacritic wanted to actually become a little bit more legitimate, what they should do is have it so that you need to link your accounts. The way a couple episodes ago, I was showing GOG's new system where you can, from my PC, I can log into both my Xbox account, my PlayStation account, see all my friends that are online, see my trophies and achievements, even though it's not the same platform. If Metacritic made it so that you had to like log in with your PSN account, and it would actually track how much playtime you've put in and be able to display your playtime like Steam reviews, that I think would actually make sense, because then you'd be able to look at it and be like, okay, this person's reviewing The Last of Us 2 and they put 12 hours into it. So they might not have finished the game, but this is a person who has played 12 hours of the game for sure. Until they have any kind of like, you have actually experienced this game verification though, it will just be like a metric for fan rage, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a lot of the time it comes down to who has more fans, people that are pro or people that are against it. That's why I'd never really liked Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes. I think inherently it's a broken system. I mean, like Mark said, there's no actual proof that you played the game.
It's all, but and at this point I made in my video, it's always been a broken system. It's just that some situations will highlight it more than others, you know. And I brought up the Nolan example. You know, I don't think there's a director who has a more passionate, you know, fan base out there in terms of the numbers. You know, The Dark Knight Rises does not deserve the fan scores it has. It just doesn't. I love the movie, okay. But Nolan fans, you go to like the IMDb, and almost all, like most Nolan movies are on like the top 100 of all time, because Nolan fans will just go and spam positive reviews because that's what they because they love their director, and that's fine. But that's never a problem when it's spammed in the positive direction. But the moment we have it spammed in a negative direction, it's all about toxic fandom and a manipulated system and all this other shit. It's just stupid. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It's always been a broken system, but then there's some things that will highlight it to really show how broken it is. I mean, I think The Dark Knight Rises has like a 90%, you know, fan rating on Rotten Tomatoes right now. I mean, that puts it in like the top movies, you know, ever. You know what I mean? That movie has a lot of problems. So it's just one of those things.
That's true. I agree with that as well. I think what I'm getting at is maybe I'm just a bit salty that there's no perfect system. Like I feel like if I want to go look up like on Metacritic, for example, I will never be able to get an accurate representation of the game. Or if I look at Last of Us 2 on Metacritic, or I can instantly tell, wow, like they did something wrong. They really pissed people off to get this much hate. But you'll never get that objective look at it. Like it's just people like me going, "Fuck you! You struck my channel. Get a 0." You know.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to me. I never go to these things to determine like, oh, how good is this game, to like learn about the game. I go to this to get people's reaction, and that's what you're seeing. You don't need to fucking play. I don't need some Steam verified 12-hour thing for me to go there and say, I watch. There's fucking tens of thousands of people watching PewDiePie live right now. There's fucking 500,000 people watching play-alongs on Twitch right now. You know, all those people are also experiencing this game. You don't have to play it to be able to experience it. And they know they fucking hate it. And that's how that is the only way their voices are able to be heard realistically.
And that's true with a game like Last of Us, because it's so story driven that a lot of the times you do need to play a game to get proper context. But if a story driven game that's heavily focused on story like Last of Us, no, you don't need to play it. You need to play it to get a proper judge of gameplay. That it's so focused on story that you can just watch it almost like a movie and judge it in that regard. And from that regard, it is a total piece of shit. And
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what everyone's been doing. So that's another argument that we can crush right there. No, you do not need to play Last of Us 2 to understand the heavy point of Last of Us 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess to kind of finish up with this topic, Last of Us 2 is out. Everybody fucking hates it except the critics and the diehard fans. We
might have a positive review on geeksandgamers.com from Mike. I don't know if Mike's going to give it. I don't know what Mike's going to review it. You know what I mean? I know he's a mega fan. He's a mega fan of the first Last of Us. I think he posted in one of our group chats. I didn't read it.
Did you put on Suicide Watch knowing that he's about to play the game?
Yeah. Well, he's already. I know he's made it through the Joel and one. I know he's made it through that one. So we'll see. We'll see what his opinion is. But you know, unlike Neil Cuckman, we don't get rid of people over their opinions, which is what he does at Naughty Dog. So
it was actually fun. When I posted in the group chat the playthrough that I've been watching, he was like, "Hey, can we not discuss this in here? Because I'm trying to avoid spoilers." I'm like, "And you work for Geeks and Gamers?" Like, I was like, "How have you avoided the spoilers?"
Well, I know. Like, what's that one YouTuber? He got his Red Dead Redemption videos. He got banned for a short period of time. Shikaro.
Yeah, the guy who did he did being eaten by the alligator.
The feminist getting eaten and all that.
Bitch never should ask to vote.
He put the feminists on the train tracks and let the train run her over. Yeah.
And he tweeted yesterday that if Last of Us 1 was a 10 out of 10, Last of Us 2 is a 7 out of 10. That was his take on it. Now, again, I don't think he was saying that he was giving it a 7 out of 10 per se, but what he was saying is if your standard is that The Last of Us is a 10 out of 10, I think this is I guess a significant step back, but not like a failure. But
it's still an ultra high budget AAA game that's very polished. Like this game is not a 6. It's not a 5 unless you put a lot of the weight on the story in the game and you don't actually like the gameplay. But again, like that's sort of why I don't like scoring things, because I find it. What do you deduct points and what value for what type of game? Like there's no way to standardize it. But even SkillUp, who like famously has one of the only negative reviews from like verified critics. Like even he on his podcast the other day was saying that, yeah, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say it's a 7. So that seems to be where most people are landing, even the ones who are critical of it. I think the other end of that spectrum is the people who are just like, oh my God, new Sony exclusive, 10 out of 10. Like,
yeah,
very true.
It looks pretty and there's like good performance capture, 10 out of 10. So
it's got good frame rate, Mark.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It runs at 30 frames a second.
I was a joke. I didn't mean it literally. Oh my God.
And again, that's all I've been hearing. I've been hearing the only good reviews I heard about the game is that it's a beautiful game, graphics wise, scenery wise. I hear it's amazing. It's
first game runs on PS4 at 60. Just saying.
Yeah.
Hey, Burnout Paradise remastered on Switch runs at 60 frames per second. 10 out of 10. Mark the Cyborg.
Yeah, I mean, like, like Burnout Paradise is really good.
Dude, we're gonna get to a point where if Geeks and Gamers is big enough, you know how the whole joke about not enough water, IGN, 3 out of 10, it's gonna be 60 frames per second, 10 out of 10, Geeks and Gamers, just because of
But again, like, this is why I don't put scores on my reviews, everybody, because it's never as simple as like this thing I like is in there, therefore 10 out of 10, which is what a lot of like mainstream gaming journalists write for their reviews. They're just like, oh, this does a thing that I enjoy, and then they give it a super high score.
Don't ever change. Mark, what's your thoughts on the Abby getting thrashed from the back, raw dog style?
Have you made that point yet?
No, I haven't. I've seen the clip. It's an awkward sex scene. My biggest complaint with it is that, like, okay, so why are the anime titties censored in other Sony games? Like, I'm more on that page. But I mean, it's fine. Like, there's a sex scene in the game, sure. Like, it's not the first game to have a sex scene. Not even the first Sony exclusive.
Like she is like that big.
Yeah, she's in better shape than I am right now. I'll say that much.
She's in better shape than all of us, man. Let's be real.
Yeah. She's found a stash of protein powder somewhere. I don't know how she did it in the apocalypse. But Keaton Smith for £199. I'm extremely worried about other big games now. About some of them, I think you have to look at the developer. Something like Cyberpunk 2077 coming out. Seems like a lot of people trust CD Projekt Red, so just kind of have to pick and choose by developer.
I mean, they added a small thing with Cyberpunk to where you can manipulate your genitals as you can add both if you want. You can have none. You can make them big. You can make them. Have you guys heard about that?
Yeah.
Lethal's very excited. Lethal's very excited about that. So
that's the only thing I heard about Cyberpunk. But when it comes to future games, like I trust Guerrilla. Horizon Zero Dawn is my ultimate favorite game. It's God of War. I'm having worries about because of how Cory Barlog is pretty much all over Cuckman's dick right now about, congratulations, great game, blah 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 blah, and knowing how I agree that it's the future games that have me worried.
Yeah,
I think it's more of a case by case basis for me personally.
Yeah, for me too. Just because this game is fucking shit and full of woke garbage. Listen, we have woke garbage in games all the time. We also have bad games all the time. It happens. This one just happens to be a sequel to a game that a lot of people love. A lot of people had a lot of hopes in this one. But for me, listen, I like The Last of Us 2. It was never something that...
The Last of Us.
Or yeah, sorry, I like the last. Yeah, do you know what's going to happen, Jeremy?
Clip it.
I'm going to get clipped.
Just like with my thing.
I love The Last Jedi.
I even heard that as like The Last of Us TOO too. Like,
so I liked The Last of Us. Fine. I didn't think it was it didn't blow me away, right? I was like, okay, this is the only reason I like this game is because of this connection that I'm getting with this kid. So it's not the biggest deal that this game fucking sucks. I know for a lot of people it really is, though. And then Big Ol is for $2. Don't punish Mark by making him play that story.
I am not going to any longer. It actually was kind of a result of Jeremy's Twitter ban because we're obviously still very much on Naughty Dog's radar. So if we posted a full no commentary playthrough on our channel, it might actually jeopardize us. So we're just not giving them any money. Except for, I guess, Mike, is it the writer guy? So we've got one guy that's going to do a written review on the website. So go to geeksandgamers.com if you want to read his take.
Yep. Should be up in a few days.
Darkside Droids, $20. Anybody that played The Last of Us 1 would be naive to think Joel wouldn't die in the sequel. That's not the issue. The issue is the deceptive business practices, infusing a random feminist agenda, and dumbing down the story and characters. 100%. 100%. It's a combination of all of those things. Just like you said, Darkside Droids. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Characters dying is not the problem. That's just it's people that are trying to misrepresent the argument by saying by eliminating the context and trying to say you're mad because of this. It's not why anyone is mad. No one is mad. No one was mad at the end of Logan. You know what I mean? It's all about storytelling. It's all about doing it for the right reasons and honoring the character. Joel got disrespected like a motherfucker from beginning to end with it comes to this game. Even going into the marketing, they used Joel for marketing, for deceptive reasons for marketing, because they knew that the audience loved him. They knew that the character was beloved by the fans. So they used him. They deceived the audience, and then they gave him a shitty ending, making him make decisions that were very inconsistent with the character that we've come to know and love. That's the problem. So
absolutely. I mean, like, how often, like, if a character has a good death scene in a movie, for example, I'm willing to bet that the most searched scene on YouTube for Al Pacino Scarface is the shootout at the end where he dies. A good death scene is what's remembered for a lot of characters.
Yeah,
and Logan, I think, is probably the perfect example there, because that's a very beloved character, like especially Hugh Jackman's portrayal. People even love Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine when it's not in a particularly good movie like X3 or X-Men Origins Wolverine. But I still have not heard anyone ever say his death scene at the end of Logan was horrible. I've not heard a human being ever utter those words. Everyone was like welling up with tears watching it, being like, "Oh man, like he went out fighting," and like that was amazing. So like I don't know why that can't be the standard set for most like character deaths.
Yeah,
of like beloved characters.
Hell, even Tommy's a beloved character. Spoiler alert. And the way he goes out is kind of insulting too. Just like, I mean, yeah, you didn't have many interactions with him in the first game, a couple chapters here and there, but in the very beginning when he saves Joel and Sarah by sticking behind, and then when he, that colony that he created, I mean, you have more of a connection with him, and even his death was kind of a
so evidently
nuts.
So he gets shot, but he only loses an eye. Apparently, he's not.
Oh,
dead.
okay. I didn't get
even
that.
Though like it totally looks like a headshot because it is in the head. It's just an eye that gets lost for Tommy.
Okay.
Somehow.
I didn't even know that. Then.
Presently at my watch through, I'm at Seattle Day 2. I just got to the scene that is basically a redo of the Left Behind DLC, but instead of Riley and Ellie in a mall, it's Joel and Ellie in a flashback at a museum. And so for context of where I am in the game, if anyone's playing it, that's where I am. And I'm watching it, not playing it.
Now, I'm wondering how far PewDiePie is away from the sex scene.
That's got to be so funny.
I know. So
I wonder how a scene like that gets handled with streaming. Like, even if someone was playing like Witcher 3, like if you're streaming a sex scene, do you get like kicked off Twitch if it like is a thing that naturally occurs in the game you're playing and you didn't know it was coming? Do you have to like black out your screen?
It is actually against the Twitch terms of service to show any type of nudity or sex on stream.
But like if you're doing like a blind playthrough of The Last of Us and you get to the like 20-second long Abby sex scene, like what are you supposed to scramble? Be like, oh no, kill the screen.
Like when I was playing Detroit Become Human, was it Detroit? I don't know. Hell, even the original God of Wars that show I had to freaking have a little thing on the screen like, oh crap, I gotta like this out.
So you're telling me if I was to
Heavy Rain
stream,
was another big one.
If I was to stream Witcher 3 right now and get to that part with Yennefer where you press the button to give her a hug and it turns into a 10-minute sex scene, that's got to get me taken down?
No, I'm not saying it will, but it is technically against the Twitch terms of service. I mean, they're like any other, depends on who you are. If you have 50,000 viewers and you're bringing them the money, then yeah, you're fine. But if you have 5 and someone reports you, you're banned.
Yeah.
So I'm probably the wrong gender to play that
game. Now, when Krista plays Grand Theft Auto on geeksandgamers.com, you're going to be able to see all the stripper titties you guys want. That will not be censored, I don't believe, Jeremy, unless I'm wrong.
Well, it all comes down to, we're going to be doing an unlisted stream on YouTube because we have to send the link out. So I guess we need to do some research to see what all from Grand Theft Auto has already been put on YouTube, and see what the standards are. I mean, yeah, that's a good question. Maybe we'll just do it on D-Day Cobra unlisted. That way, who cares if that channel gets nuked? So although that is still connected to the Geeks and Gamers brand. So.
We can just, honestly, Jeremy, we can create a fucking like dead channel to do that on, to be honest.
Yeah, we might just do that, and then we can transfer it over to Geeks and Gamers Live, edit it if we need to. So, might do that.
Math isn't my best subject, and apparently English either, because you didn't put a space between math and isn't. For $4.99, I don't know why studios think undermining character development is the way to go these days, especially for old white men. But it's time to stop. I 100% agree. 100% agree.
It's also one of my favorite Twitter accounts.
Math is my best subject. Yeah. Jack Bauer for $2. Who is going to watch The Last of Us show on HBO? It's going to be interesting. I think that I saw a meme that was like everyone at HBO looking at the reaction to Last of Us 2, the friend with the puppet. He's like this, and he's like this. That because I
think we could be facing how once Game of Thrones season 8 ended, and how suddenly any anticipation for anything spinoff connected to Game of Thrones, suddenly there was no interest. They started canceling things. I'd be curious to see how the fallout is to this once everyone experiences The Last of Us Part 2 and the ending. How the anticipation will be for a show, because I think it's going to be it's going to hurt that big time.
I was looking forward to it. I really was. I mean, all the people in my Twitch chat like, hey, when are you playing The Last of Us 2? They were asking me all the time, hey, you playing Horizon Zero Dawn? But the Horizon Zero Dawn too. But when The Last of Us started coming out, they were close. At first, it was put on hold indefinitely, and then the leaks came out. They say, okay, it's June now. They were like, hey, you pissed off? You're not going to play The Last of Us 2? I'm like, yeah, it sucks. I have to wait another year. But again, they delay it for good reasons. But now they're all asking me, hey, where's The Last of Us 2? I'm sorry, I ain't playing that garbage. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, to think of it, even if it hit that February launch date, we would have all just played it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I mean, but do you think the outrage would have been worse if they didn't release it and these leaks came out, like before the leaks came out, if we had played it?
I think you would have.
I think it would be a lot worse.
I think you would have seen a much more honest reaction from a lot of people.
Yeah,
because I think that the leaks happening and like the backlash from, I guess, our segment of YouTube, I think got a lot of people in, like I was mentioning at the beginning of the podcast, in Last of Us 2 Defense Force mode, where it's like, oh, whatever happens in this game, I'm gonna love it because I'm a real fan, and it's like, well,
yeah.
Yeah, because the narrative turned into it's a bunch of toxic YouTubers that are just trying to get hate clicks, yada yada yada. So that's an interesting way to look at it, though, Ace. I do think that a lot of the anger did come from the DMCA situation, though. I mean, that created
absolutely
negativity, but it would have been interesting to see how that played.
Yeah, 100%. Agree on all fronts, guys, but I think we're ready to move on to the next thing. Anybody have anything last to say about The Last of Us Part 2?
I want one of those sweaters. Right.
Oh, well, you want one of the sweaters, huh?
Here we go.
Let's see what I can do for you here. If you guys want one, you can certainly go to my Teespring. We have sweatshirts, we have mugs, we have women t-shirts, and for those questionable among us, we have unisex t-shirts. They do fit men, they do fit women, and they do fit Abby. So please,
Ryan pandering.
Please go check that out. I'll put it in the link right here. Fuck Naughty Dog merch. Boom.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay, because now I can take an opportunity to say we have now hit 106 premium members on the site. That is amazing. So thank you for the support. Just a quick update on that, because I would assume most of the people watching this are part of our premium subscribers. Working on getting that premium subscriber forum created so we can have direct communication with all of you. Working on getting an icon created by your name, so when you're in the forums, you'll have an icon by your name if you're a premium subscriber. And that once we create that forum, it's going to open up the opportunity to communicate better with all of you, to talk about like what do you want to see, what streams are coming and everything like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So good stuff.
Yeah, nice. I saw Tugs plugging the website as well, so make sure you guys go check that out. Blue-Eyed Scorpio for $1.99. Bob Barker would whoop Abby. The price is wrong, bitch. That's right. That's right.
The Blue Eyes Scorpio made a blog post because unfortunately we had to put blog post on approval because we had someone basically, everything you do is a reaction to some other asshole. So like we had some asshole create an account and basically just to make us look bad, posted a lot of really stupid and horrible stuff to make it look like Geeks and Gamers supported this type of stuff. So we had to ban that person. So we had to put blog posts on a pre-approval, and Blue Eyed Scorpio made some fucking troll blog post. Andrew's like, is this guy just some troll? I was like, no, it's just he says the stupidest shit all the time. It's so good. So I love it. He always says the most random shit on Twitter. People are like, fuck you for saying that about Jeremy. And he's just talking so much shit about me. It's so good.
Kim 5K Blast, we should address this before we move off the topic. Abby is technically not trans from anything revealed in the game. Technically, there's no confirmation that she is trans. There is a trans character named Lev, who there's a whole side story about how how and why Lev is running away from home because of his gender identity, whatever his preferred pronouns are, gender identity issues. I said this from the beginning, that I thought that this was going to be the trans character because Neil Cuckman specifically found a child trans actor to play this character when he was 15, 14. Yes, a trans child actor who's turned 18 recently. But yeah, that's the trans character confirmed in this game. Yes, exactly. 421 Spaceman, Lev. But
Abby sure sounds feminine because it's Laura Bailey's voice. Like,
yeah, it doesn't look like
Laura Bailey's not bad to look at though. Does not look like Laura Bailey.
No, Laura Bailey looks good. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk. We talked about Cyberpunk a little bit anyway. Cyberpunk is delayed. Yet again, Cyberpunk has been delayed. We can go ahead and
Rose robot leg. No, I'm kidding.
Throws robot leg. Yes, and they posted this yesterday, I believe, or maybe 2 days ago. We've decided to move the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 from September to November. And then basically they say that we take very seriously a game being ready for launch, and it's just simply not going to be ready. So as disappointed as I am that Cyberpunk, again, is getting delayed, I will say that I would rather them get it right than release it early. And if I have to wait another 2 months for that, I suppose that's okay. Although I am getting I better get it by 2020. If I have to wait till 2021, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Especially because, like I pre-ordered this back before it was supposed to release in April. I anticipated playing on the PlayStation 4. And, who knows what system I'm going to be playing by the time this thing actually gets released.
I think if you have to end up playing it on PS5, if you insist on playing it on a console, that'll probably result in a much better experience.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think so too. And we'll get into
Stay with me. Better frame rates, right?
Well, and I'll get into it as well, kind of what this could mean for PS4 backwards compatibility and things like that. But, Ace, what was your reaction when you saw Cyberpunk, a highly anticipated game by CD Projekt Red, once again delayed?
Oh, I'm the same way. I mean, I'm looking forward to the game. I would love to play it, but I'm one of those people who think, if it's delayed for a reason, and I'm all for it. I don't want a broken game. I mean, Fallout 76, prime example, completely broken game. No Man's Sky, they delayed, completely broken game. So most of the time when they do delay, it still comes out being worse. But I have faith in CD Projekt Red. I think they are doing it for the right reasons. I got no problem waiting another couple months. So, I mean, as long as they do it right.
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. I mean, I have no problem. I actually I think it's good when I hear games get delayed. I'm a Nintendo fan. I've heard Nintendo delay games over and over and over again, and typically almost always turns out to be a good decision. So Cyberpunk is one of the most anticipated games in recent memory. The expectations are through the fucking roof on this game. And if they stick the landing on this, I mean, this could be a game that is remembered for a long, long time. So yeah, put it off a few more months and finish up, getting any of these little details right. I have no problem with this whatsoever. And I don't believe I don't believe anyone should have problems, with gaming companies, delaying games. If they finish the product, if the product comes out, the finished product is great, then I don't think we should ever have a problem with that. Now, if they delay and delay and delay and then still produce a shitty product, then that's a case by case situation. But I don't think that's the case here. I think they're going to give us a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. If the game comes out, or when the game comes out, if it ends up being a buggy, broken mess, then I'm going to be furious. But if it ends up being this mind blowing, I remember where I was when I bought the game type moment, then I'm all for the delays. But I will admit, it's starting to get a bit annoying.
Yeah, I think their big mistake was ever announcing a release date. I think that there was someone that decided April 16th was going to be like the day that it was coming out. And they're like, we got Keanu Reeves for this E3 show and we're going to announce it. It's going to be a big moment. And it was, but we're now 2 delays out. Now, granted, like the pandemic-y thingy that, are we allowed to say what it is now? Like, is that still the bug happened, and so that probably has a fair amount to do with it, because they had to rearrange their studio so that everyone was working remotely, and I'm sure that did cause issues, especially with things like quality assurance. And now we're at the second delay. But ultimately, what I always go with this, and that's also why a lot of my reviews that I put up on here are from games that aren't brand new, that might be a year old, might be 2 years old. In case of Titanfall 2, it might be 4 years old. Because you don't necessarily have to only play brand new games. Realistically, if every game coming out for the rest of the year got delayed 2 full years, so you had to spend 2 years playing nothing but games that came out in 2019, 2020, or before. If you were forced to do that, I guarantee you would not be bored. You would be spending less money on video games, and you would be playing games that have far fewer problems because most of those games are all patched already. So ultimately, don't ever get pissed off about a game you're looking forward to getting delayed. Just be like, okay, I'll play something else in the meantime. Like that's always how I look at it.
A prime example of a game that got patched and fixed over the years is, if I can respond to someone in chat, Hologram Nunchuck. He says, I heard the updates for No Man's Sky made the game much better. I want to give it a shot eventually. They actually did. It took them 3 years, but No Man's Sky is a much better game as it was. And I just wanted to say that. But yeah, waiting a little while to play the game is fine.
I haven't played No Man's Sky. Obviously, it came out with incredible hype, and it was very disappointing. Would you say the game 3 years later matches what everyone expected it to be upon release now? Like, do you think now it matches that hype all these years later?
Yeah, and then some. Yeah, they added a lot to it too, and all the since the abysmal, terrible launch it had, all the updates have been free as well. I still enjoy it. When it first came out, it was nothing but an exploration game. You're alone in the universe. You fly from planet to planet. It's basically Minecraft in space, just with a little bit better graphics. But now they have live ships. They have like a central hub now, which if you're familiar with Destiny, it's like the tower where players can meet each other. You can share planets. You can share different systems. The building's really great. But yeah, absolutely. If you haven't played No Man's Sky since its disastrous launch, I would highly recommend it right now.
Okay, that's good. I
did pick it up on a recent GOG sale. I just haven't got around to playing it yet. It was like $20. So I was like,
yeah. And that's kind of an extreme example, obviously, because 3 years later that's pretty bad that we've finally got. But regardless, it's a significantly it's a significant change from the release. And maybe if they would have delayed it a little bit, and maybe had I feel like this is bigger than just a minor delay though. Seems like they rushed the project completely.
Well, see, No Man's Sky was actually delayed for I think 6 months to a year, if I'm remembering correctly. And they claimed, hey, we got some bugs to work out. We got some of this, but it launched completely broken. I mean, everything about that game was broken.
My theory is that game coming out at all when it did was probably Sony's fault, because it seemed like that was a passion project being made by like a team of like 15 people at Hello Games, something like that.
Yeah,
like
it's a very small indie studio. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Sony got behind it. They're like, Sony's publishing it. It's going to be a console exclusive at first. And like they started pushing it at all their E3s, acting like it was going to be like a polished AAA game like God of War or Last of Us or something. And then the game comes out and it's like, it's an early access exploration survival game. and everyone was disappointed. But I have a feeling that Hello Games was probably like, hey, we can maybe use another year, and Sony might have been like, no, we already paid you, put this game out. We've shown it at 2 E3s. Like,
yeah,
I could see that.
I mean, Hello Games actually shut their studios, went into hiding a couple weeks after that release. It was bad. Oh man,
that was great. Well,
I think that was definitely a case of like different expectations than I think a lot of people had going in, and a lot of people were disappointed.
Yeah. See, what I'm worried about though, it's kind of the same thing with CD Projekt Red. I mean, CD Projekt Red is obviously more well known, well respected than Hello Games was because they're, like I said, they're most well known, but it's just the fact that the game's getting delayed, and it's usually for the better, but sometimes it's for the worse. You would think that, hey, delay would be awesome, great for it, but then it just still ends up being a broken, bloody mess.
That it always is a possibility. I would prefer to, especially a delay like 2 months. That's not a like, okay, there's something seriously broken with it. Or wait, 3 months, 2 months. Anyways,
2 months.
That's not a there's something terribly wrong with this game delay. That's a hey, we could use a bit more time to iron out a few of these bugs type delay.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I'm all for the delay. I'm hoping they iron out the bugs, but Fallout 76, No Man's Sky, all those other games where I'm like, okay, delay's good, always ends up being broken. So, I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't know. Was it?
I don't think so. I think Fallout 76 was like announced at E3 and then came out in the fall. It was just like terribly broken. The Regs has a really good video on Fallout.
Delayed.
I must be thinking another one then. Yeah.
Should have been delayed permanently.
Yeah.
So what Cyberpunk is delaying it for? They could have said, "Oh, the beer bug." They could have said all this stuff, but they simply said, "We're not ready yet." Everything story-wise, side quests, all of that stuff is done. They are just working on basically fine-tuning everything because with such a big world and so many different things that you can have, they just want to fix because, like they say here, it's finished both content and gameplay. The quest, cutscenes, skills, and items, all adventures is all there. But with such an abundance of content and complex systems interweaving, we need to properly go through everything, balance game mechanics, and fix a lot of bugs. And that, I think, to me, is what I like about CD Projekt Red with this whole thing. They have just been upfront about what's going on. And I think even when you're coming to me and telling me that something's wrong, when you're being upfront, that means a lot. And it's something that you don't expect at all from any fucking game studio other than CD Projekt Red, to be quite honest. So I respect them for that. And one quick thing I did want to talk
about. Nintendo.
Fuck Nintendo. Cyberpunk then says, we are happy to confirm that Cyberpunk 2077 will be backwards compatible with both next-gen consoles. Your PS4 copy of the game will work on PS5 on launch day. Anyone who buys the game on Xbox One will be able to play their copy on Series X when that console launches too. And a later upgrade taking full advantage of the next-gen hardware will be available for free. Now, I think that is interesting. The fact that your PS4 copy of the game will work on PS5 on launch day. Cyberpunk may have revealed and confirmed more than we've got from Sony about backwards compatibility.
Actually, a lot of the studios are doing that because Bungie just revealed that it would be backwards compatible for Destiny as well.
Yeah, I think the concerning thing about this and the wording of it is it doesn't necessarily say that like you will be able to get like the PS5 version. I guess in the later upgrade segment in the reply, that sort of does mention that you will be getting like the full PS5 version for the purchase of the PS4 copy. But
that's what Bungie said, not backwards compatible. You'll get the free upgrade.
Well, I think that Destiny at this point though is free to play, or at least for like the base game. So it's a little bit trickier to talk about that because they might be like, okay, but if you maybe I don't know, they probably let it have it so that your account would have the expansions carry over. Yeah, but
we'll get to that
with Cyberpunk not being a multiplayer like a sort of cross-platform play game like Destiny is. I think it's a bit of a different situation. This is more just like a straight up single player game because I'm really worried about how backwards compatibility is going to work on PS5 because it's really kind of seeming like not all PS4 games are going to be playable on PS5. It's possible that it is going to be, but the way they've said the top 100 PS4 games will be enhanced for PS5. It's like, okay, so that means at least 100 PS4 games are going to run on PS5 and run better. But what does that mean for all the other thousands of games that are on PS4? Like it might be that you just can't play them and need to hang on to your PS4 if you want to play some of your games. Or clarify it, Sony. I mean, like, if I'm getting it wrong, like maybe you say, no, here's how it's going to work exactly.
I mean, they didn't do it for the 3 or the 4. The PlayStation 3 games aren't backwards compatible with the PlayStation 4. Last time they did it was PS2 and PS3. You were able to play PS2 games in the PS3.
PS2 on PS3 was a bit cagey too. PS1 games worked on PS3 just fine, but you had to get specific models of the PS3 that were backwards compatible with PS2.
Yeah, I think it was the original base model, that really big, bulky bastard. I think that was the only one that was
the George Foreman grill.
Yeah,
yeah,
and only the 60 gigabyte one too. The 20 gigabyte was not backwards compatible.
And I think that, like, to me, when I read that, your copy of the game will work on PS5 on launch day. It means to me that you put the disc inside your PS5 and it works. And like that is all we've been wanting to hear for a long time from Sony. People have been asking that for forever. I think that it's only going to work, kind of like Mark said, they're probably only going to do that with, they've confirmed like 100 plus games, right?
The top 100 games are the words they use, and
you muted yourself.
Sorry, I was going to type the top 100 games will be enhanced for PS4.
Top 100? What does that mean, though?
Exactly. What indeed is my point.
It means that they're going to uncensor Mark's anime titties that he wants. That's what it means. Enhanced. Yeah, that'll get lethal. Yeah, absolutely. So that is interesting. I thought it was interesting. They said that, and they basically revealed more about backwards compatibility that Sony fucking has. But you mentioned Destiny a little bit there, Ace, and one of the things I wanted to talk about, since you're a guest here on the podcast, and I know you do play a lot of Destiny too.
I do.
You know, Bungie recently made an announcement that I think, coming off this big live event that they had, very much in the style that Fortnite tends to do over the past couple of years, which there were definitely some bugs, some hiccups involved, but
it's too long. That's what it was.
It seems like that's the way they want to go, and they have fully committed to turning Destiny 2 into a live service. And for all those people that wanted a Destiny 3, said, sorry guys, not happening. We are focused on Destiny 2. How did you feel about that as someone who does play a lot of Destiny 2?
Personally, I think it was great. I mean, because when they tried the whole sequel thing with Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, it failed miserably. Destiny 2 Vanilla was just the worst. PvP wise, content wise, it didn't have that overall enjoyment of the original one, even with all of its DLCs. But I think sticking with Destiny 2 and making it the live service, just updating it as it goes along for the rest of its life cycle, I think that's the best thing they can do for it. I mean, because, Forsaken was a great expansion. Shadowkeep was a great expansion. I think they need to stick with the expansions instead of, because when they did it from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, they basically deleted all your inventory, saying, hey, the tower was destroyed, so you're losing your inventory, you lose your light, so that's why your character is being reverted back down to level 1, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then all the weapons you get in the game, like the exotics and stuff, were pretty much remade from the original
Destiny 1, yeah.
So, and now they're bringing back all these old weapons. It's like, what happened to new weapons because we lost the connection to all the old ones. So I think making everyone lose all the progress from the Guardians they have now, going into making a third one, I think would be a huge mistake. Just let people keep what they have, all the work they put into it, and just expand on this one. Don't start from scratch. Just work with what you got.
I honestly think
not broken, don't fix it.
They should drop the 2. They should just call it Destiny.
Just make it Destiny. Yep, I agree.
Bring all the planets and content and raids from the original game and just integrate it all into one thing.
They are doing that. What they're doing is they're calling it the Destiny Vault. So what they're vaulting certain content that's not being played. I believe Gambit's one of them. The PvE/PvP game list. That's not being played very much. The Reckoning, that's not being played very much. So what they're doing is they put it out that they're going to shelf those items like for now and bring back some old stuff. Like the one thing that people really, really excited about is they're bringing back the very first raid, Vault of Glass, into D2. So, I mean, we're not sure how they're going to do it, how they're going to change up the encounters to match what Destiny 2 offers, but that's a big one coming back. They're deleting some planets, like Titan's going away, Mars is going away, I believe Mercury's going away, and they will be bringing in Europa. I think they're bringing back the EDZ on the Cosmodrome from Destiny 1. They're bringing back some of the old stuff and shelving some new stuff because they admitted it. They can't have so much content because the memory is just too much. They can't just keep adding. They have to remove some stuff.
I think even less technical limitations and more like you got to funnel the players into activities, right? Otherwise, you're going to have like 2 people playing the King's Fall raid when you need a team of 6 to get through it, and then everyone else is on Vault of Glass, and no one at all is playing the I'm now forgetting the name of it's been a while since I played the name of the raid where you fight against the dude from Destiny 2. The one which like the Coliseum, the Cabal raid. I don't know. I'm forgetting what it's called.
Callus.
Yeah,
the Leviathan raid. That was a garbage raid too.
Oh, let me add Ace, because I bought Destiny, the first Destiny day one. Did not like it at all. And I know that with Destiny 1, if people really came around on that game, later on, they worked on that game, they improved it. Were you a big fan of Destiny, the first Destiny as well?
I've been playing Destiny since the beta. I played the beta, I loved it. I mean, it wasn't Bungie pulled the fast one on us. A year out from its original release, they actually cut the storyline completely changed it up, cut it in half. It was all Activision's fault, of course. I mean, I blame Activision for that, but they cut a whole lot of the story just to sell as DLC. I was very, very I was pissed about that because from what the original story was simply amazing, but for some reason the people higher up at Bungie and Activision didn't like it, so they cut it, just to sell as DLC. But whatever. But I was a huge fan of Halo, and I saw a lot of Halo into that in that game. Even the enemies are pretty much the same. The brutes are the Cabal, the Fallen are the elites, pretty much. The Hive is the Flood. So, I mean, I was a huge Destiny fan, and when I was playing the beta, and pretty much the beta, and I don't blame you, Jeremy, for not liking the first one. A lot of people didn't, because the beta was pretty much half the overall game. But I still enjoyed it. I've been playing ever since. There was some times where I took a couple months off because it was just in a really bad place. I'm a primary PvP player, so when I have, when there's a broken weapon that you just cannot deal with, you just take a break from it, set it down, and come back to it when the item is fixed. But yeah, I mean, I can understand why I didn't like it, but I mean, trust me, you're not the only one. I've been with it since the very beginning, and I was disappointed with the original game, but I saw a lot of friends who played it, so it wasn't just me running around. I played with 3 to 6 people constantly, so I was never bored with it. I always had someone to roll with. So, I mean, that's why I still enjoy it to this day. It's just most of the people that I met in it and the people I play with.
Yeah, that was kind of the point I was going to make. I played a lot of Destiny for all of Destiny 1 in the first year of Destiny 2, and then I kind of fell off. But playing Destiny, if you're in a clan and have people to be doing raids with, is a totally different game than if you're just booting it up expecting to play Halo. Like it's really kind of designed around being like a community game. With the raids, if you don't know what a raid is, it's basically like a series of combat puzzles that involve different people doing different, very specific things at any one time. So it involves a lot of communication, a lot of people executing on the things they need to do. And if one person messes up, the whole team messes up. So if you don't want to put in the work to learn the raid encounters and have a team that you can communicate and cooperate well enough to actually succeed at them, you're probably not going to really see what's amazing about that game. You're just going to be like, okay, well, this is a game where I can't do half the stuff because I just want to play alone, and it's designed around team play. So I'm just playing the same campaign levels over and over again. It sucks.
Right.
Well, and I think that, a couple of people have been talking about Activision since you guys brought it up, and that is really Bungie never wanted to make Destiny 3. Bungie always wanted to make Destiny 2 a live service and continue building that game. But Activision are the ones that want to know, let's put out another game. Let's put out another game. Let's put out another game because they know that's their cycle. That's what we see, right? It's what we see with Call of Duty. That is what Activision wanted to do. But Bungie didn't. And now that Activision is no longer there, they're kind of getting their way. And we have these big expansions planned for 2020, 2021, and 2022. So it's going to be interesting to see going forward. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, like kind of how you felt about them. No Destiny 3, no sequel, but this game that I've been putting so much time into is just going to get bigger, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Do you think
it's fine.
Do you think it will get to the point, though, where it's too big for new players to come in, where it's just too much?
Well, I think I can understand why that would be an issue with some people. Yeah, I can see that, but they're pretty good at making you skip some campaigns. Like, good example, you can come back now. You don't have to play the War Mine. You don't have to play the Curse of Osiris. Not playing it's not going to affect you at all. I think there was a point to where if you got Shadowkeep, you didn't have to play Forsaken, but Forsaken was a really good expansion. You kind of want to play. So they might do that. They might do that to where it's not going to affect new players. If they come out for Beyond Light, which is the new one coming up in September, they'll probably make it to where it doesn't matter if you didn't play the original ones. You can still start from where you are and work your way forward.
Hey,
you missed out on.
I just noticed my friend Fonzarelli is in the chat, who I played a lot of Destiny with, and he says Destiny 2 should have been an expansion to begin with.
I agree. A lot of people agree with that.
Eric, I appreciate you, buddy, but please stop spamming. Please, please stop spamming.
We're not playing fucking Broforce. God.
I do want to play Broforce. Mark made me
Broforce is good stuff. But just before we wrap up on Destiny, shout out to my old clan, the Technodrome. Still love you guys. I'm sorry I don't play anymore.
Wait, the Technodrome?
So
you were at the Technodrome?
Yeah.
I was with their Phantom subclass for a while.
Oh, there you go.
The Phantom subclan for a while.
The Phantoms were the people who did the PvP stuff primarily, and you guys are probably what got me to the Lighthouse. Which, if you play Destiny, you know what that means. In Destiny 1, when it mattered.
My Halo 3 clan was called the Metallican Teabaggers because we used to blast Metallica through the headphone and teabag all our dead enemies.
I'm actually surprised. I mean, Technodrome's a lot bigger than I thought it was.
There you go.
Metallican Teabags for life.
The first gaming podcast that was ever on was on Jorge's In Orbit, talking about Destiny stuff.
Nice. Small world.
Ace, if you mention frame rates and all that, Mark's gonna be your best friend at this point.
Playing Destiny 2 on PC was one of the reasons I realized I can't play first-person shooters at 30 frames a second anymore.
Oh man, I would love to play Destiny on PC. Yes, the frame rates are better, the field of view, everything is amazing on PC. But what keeps me away from PC is the cheaters and the amount of cheating that can go on when it comes to PC. 30 FPS blows. I will 100% agree with that, but I'd stick with console just to avoid the cheaters.
All right, calm down. You remember, don't forget, Mark, you have X-Ray Girl, okay? You're good. I don't need you to see you fall in love because he mentioned he hates 30 frames per second, okay?
It's 2020, Jeremy. I can be pansexual if I want
to be. That's true. Just if you want to be, not because you are, just because you want to be. Disgusting, Mark. You bigot. Why don't you eat a bigot sandwich? Anyway, but yeah, so that's interesting to hear that perspective from two guys who are into Destiny. One of the big announcements we got, well, kind of big, we got to see Star Wars Squadrons gameplay, and to be quite honest, the EA play was a big disappointment. Fucking Greg Miller, seeing that dumbass cuck's face on screen for so fucking long. And then to see him say anything positive about The Last of Us 2 is just so ironic. To have someone so fake excited about the entire EA play and then to be fake excited about a dog shit game like The Last of Us 2 is not lost on me. However,
my favorite line was, "I lost a night of sleep because the Star Wars Squadrons teaser trailer gave me all the feels." I'm like, that did not happen. Shut up.
Yeah. He might have lost a night of sleep, but it wasn't from that. It was probably just the Abby sex scene on loop with him just fucking fapping away. But anyway, Star Wars Squadrons, I have mixed feelings about it because I know Jeremy's not fucking interested in it at all. But to me, I have such nostalgia for those true Star Wars flight simulators from the 90s where you actually controlled everything. You controlled
Squadron
everything.
was the best one.
Well, not Rogue Squadron. So Rogue Squadron is a great game. I fucking love Rogue Squadron on the 64. I loved it on the GameCube.
GameCube, that was mine.
Yeah, but the X-Wing versus TIE, the ones
TIE Fighter, yep.
Exactly. The true flight simulators, not like third person, or you could go first person, kind of follow the path that you're supposed to go, but a real like open space combat game where you just kind of have to shoot everything in the sky. You kind of determine how you're going to go about the battle. And Star Wars,
you must be an Ace Combat fan then, right?
I haven't played Ace Combat, but
I love Ace Combat. That's what my Ace of Aces is from. Is from Ace Combat 6, the hardest difficulty of those missions. And that's why I'm excited for Star Wars Squadron, because it seems like that you can play it in VR and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, guy.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And I do think that it is going to be completely geared towards the multiplayer aspect of it. I think both the campaigns are going to be super short. $40 game. I don't think that most people will imagine that the campaigns will be anything worth really too much other than just get you acquainted with the game and give you a little bit of nostalgia if you care at all about Disney Star Wars. But what do you think, Lethal, as someone who, is a huge Star Wars fan like me, been turned off a lot by recent Star Wars games? What are your feelings on Star Wars Squadrons?
I think this game looks pretty good, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe I'm just so desperate for something that I actually like from Disney Star Wars. But I agree that story doesn't matter. Disney Star Wars is just one giant retcon after another. It doesn't matter. But everything I'm seeing of that game, it's looking good. And I've heard that you can create your own character, so I won't have to play as you in a TIE fighter. But, sure. But I don't know. Everything looks good. Like all the heads-up display is actually like the equipment on the Starfighter. The one thing that's got me a bit concerned is this just going to end up being like almost a competitive arena type game where it's very focused on the 5v5 stuff. Because if they have some sort of wave defense mode in this, oh god, it sounds awesome. I don't know if I'll end up getting it though personally, because fuck Disney Star Wars.
Yeah,
I do think the game looks pretty good. I remember when I still had hope for Disney Star Wars, seeing the Battlefront 2 trailer, and I'm more excited for this game being someone that's completely jaded and seeing this thinking this looks schmick. And I'm also kind of hoping they turn your character into a gay TIE pilot, Ryan, for diversity.
I don't want him. Don't make him gay, please.
He can be gay if he wants to be, Ryan. It's 2020.
I thought you were born that way. What are you talking about?
To be fair, you've made some pretty strong comments about Zack Snyder that I think wouldn't make turning your character gay that far from being believable. So
I
agree. As a Zack Snyder fan,
happen to Abby. He can go and dry if he wants, as long as he gets in. I love Zack Snyder. So yeah.
So does Axel, by the
way. That's true. That's true. Axel Braun, we had a very good conversation with the man earlier today. That was fun as hell. But what about you, Jeremy? Are you still don't give a shit?
Yeah, I don't give a shit about this game. I just don't. I don't give a fuck. So fuck it. I won't play it. I won't try it. I hadn't. The diversity. That there's all this forced diversity shit. Like again, I just don't care about Star Wars generally speaking anymore. I just don't. I mean, look, I enjoyed Battlefront 2. I didn't enjoy the campaign. I thought the campaign was pretty trash, but I definitely enjoyed the multiplayer aspect for sure. But Star Wars just in general, it's hard for me to get excited about anything. And this isn't my type of game per se. I mean, I enjoyed some of the old school flying games, like the Rogue Leader and Rogue Squadron and all that, but I just don't want to play this game. I don't give a fuck about it. Give me Titanfall 3.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go out and pre-order it or, buy it on day one or anything. I'm definitely going to keep an eye and see how the reaction to it is before I determine if I'm going to get it for sure. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in it. It's definitely not going to be some huge. It's not going to be mass marketed the same way Battlefront is. That's why it's only $40, because it's not for everybody. But I do think that there could be some potential with it. I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, potential for microtransactions. I mean, we are talking about EA here.
They did specifically say no microtransactions in it.
Yeah,
so, let's see if they hold to that. But
did they follow through with that on Fallen Order?
There's still no microtransactions in Fallen Order. I will give them that one. They have been, the lightsaber crystal stuff you all get in game, but it's kind of sad when you're in that day to where in order to market a game, you have to say there's no microtransactions or everything is earned in game.
I think it's specifically EA that needs to say that in particular about Star Wars stuff, because Battlefront 2 was a disaster.
Yeah, I have a strict no EA policy that's been going on since the Old Republic, since they implemented their whole loot box thing. But I mean, I did break that for Fallen Order, and I loved Fallen Order. I mean, it was Disney Star Wars, and there were some parts of the story I didn't like, but I still think Fallen Order was an amazing game.
I might be looking too deep into this, but is anyone else noticing some squadrons? It's getting some influence from OG Battlefront 2 space battles. How it's about targeting certain points of the spaceships, of the capital ships.
You're 100% right that is where that kind of originated, and you see that a lot. You just brought up SWTOR. Even in the SWTOR space battles, that's a huge factor in that, is specifically targeting whether it be shield generators, engines, weapons emplacements, things like that. But yeah, you're right. I don't know if that is a part of the game at all in Battlefront 2, like the most recent Battlefront 2, because there's a lot of space combat in that as well. But as far as I know,
the thing with the Battlefront 2 space battles and Battlefront 2 in general was it was very. They try to do this thing, and they've been doing it since the Battlefield games, where it was almost like each map had its own little set thing that would happen in it. So, for example, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of one of the space ones, but if you're Empire, your objective is to hold off the rebels before they blow up some sort of section where you're trying to escape the wreckage of the second Death Star. It was always almost like a little story behind each map. Whereas in OG Battlefront 2, it was just right, Republic ship, Rebel ship, who's going to blow each other up first? And I think that's the better way to go about it.
Well, and also
the Old Republic also has that PvP as well. They have that type of thing on PvP. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I haven't played it.
But always interrupt. That's what we do. I'll interrupt Mark right now. All right, go ahead.
I hardly matter, but I'm a crook.
No, I'll interrupt.
But in OG Battlefront, though, you could also land on the ship and do some damage to it from the inside on foot, and I always thought that was really awesome. But I mean, if it's going to be Battlefront 2's the shooting mechanics, I could take it or leave it. It's fine. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's gotten better, I think. But I don't know. I don't really like how that game plays on foot.
Alice McCarthy says, "I wonder if Ryan is a playable character in Squadrons. If Kennel is playable character and you can change his gender and his sexual preference, I will buy the game."
Well, the thing is, it's completely customizable. So, the characters that you saw in the trailer are probably not going to be in the game because everyone can choose who they're going to be. So.
No, I want that Ryan Kennel character though. I want him to be a mainstay in the game, and I want to change his gender and his sexual orientation. I want diversity, and I want to make an example of toxicity. And Ryan Kennel is toxicity.
Make him the next Star Wars Abby.
I wish I had Abby's arms, to be honest.
Just find some post-apocalyptic testosterone. You'll be all right.
But it's gonna be who knows? Yeah, everyone is kind of Disney, Star Wars, EA. Not a lot of optimism necessarily, but I'm interested to see where the game goes.
They have to nail this one. If they don't nail this one, they're definitely losing the Star Wars license. They were close to losing it with the Battlefront 2 loot box problem. But
see, I don't think so. I think Fallen Order 2, they've already got that in the works.
Well, that's because EA stayed out of it. They let Respawn do their thing, and I'm just speculating here, but I'm hoping Respawn was like, "Hey, EA, shut the fuck up, let me do my thing,"
so great.
And you'll be all right. So I mean, as long as the EA executives just keep their nose out of it, I think they can make some great games. But look what happened with Titanfall. Titanfall was supposed to be one of their redeeming points, but they got greedy with it, and it ended up being complete garbage. Not Titanfall. I'm sorry.
I was about to say you about to be banned. You about to be banned.
Yeah. I was like,
Jeremy, I'm talking
talking
about Anthem. I'm sorry,
No,
Anthem,
no,
not
I know.
Titanfall.
Okay. God, yeah, it's a very different game. I was
Just
about to say, I
saying.
was like, even if he meant Apex, I was like, I don't think I agree with that really. but,
Sorry. I know Apex is pretty good. I meant Anthem. I apologize.
Well, at least you're not going to get clips saying that you like The Last of Us Part 2 like Ryan will.
Yeah.
It's
He
already
already was
happened.
clips. It's already happened.
Yeah. Did I say I don't know how I said. Oh my god.
You
all the
said
re-
you love The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, you did.
I said I like The Last of Us 2, but I meant 2 as in
TOO. My
You gotta
favorite meme
realize
from this.
it's social media. They're not gonna care if you meant 2 as an also or 2 as it's The Last of Us Part 2. That's what you meant, and we all know it.
My favorite of the Abby choke memes is there's a shot of Abby choking Ellie, and the caption says, "Don't kill Ellie. She's The Last of Us 2," spelled TOO, and I love that meme so much.
Dark Side Droids for $5. Question for all: who will own WB Gaming Division in 2021?
If the Snyder Cut is successful, Zack Snyder will own all of WB.
I'd be happier with that.
I just wanted to see Lethal and Ryan
EA
smile.
or Take-Two owning it. Honestly, like if CD Projekt gets a big windfall with Cyberpunk and decides to buy WB Games, I'll be pretty happy about that.
I think it's going to be owned by AT&T. I think it's going to be the same people that own it now. I think that they're throwing this out there to hope somebody will like maybe give them a big offer that they'll be like, yeah, well, why not just do it? Just sell it for $4 billion. But it sounds like they're not getting offers anywhere close to that. So more than likely, they're just going to say, well, I guess we'll just keep things as it is. We have kind of a good thing going on. So unless we get a crazy deal, we're just going to hold on to it.
Well, because I think, though, you would just be buying the studios, right? Like, it's not like you would then be able to make all the Batman games or anything. Like, you would still have to pay Warner Brothers for the license to make Batman games. So it might not, like, you would basically just be buying Rocksteady, realistically.
Yes,
and, like,
you're buying
Montreal.
Rocksteady, NetherRealm, Monolith, and then, all the Warner Brothers in whatever cities. But yeah, you're right. You would still need to get permission to use those things. You couldn't just have free reign to do whatever the fuck you wanted with a Batman or a Superman game, a Harry Potter game, a Lord of the Rings game. You would still need to go through WB because they have the license. So I don't think it's changing hands, but it's interesting to kind of talk about it and scary at the same time to think that, a company like Activision or Take-Two or EA could get their hands on the Arkham series. So
we need a Superman Arkham style game.
I think Jeremy
That
should
would be
offer to buy it
interesting.
and put it under the label of Geeks and Gamers.
Let me recoup paying for the website first, and then I can buy WB Gaming. So
5,000 channel members on the website, and we will buy WB Games.
done. I love that idea. Love it.
I don't think
Ryan will be playing Animal Crossing at that point. So hey, we do have some Nintendo news, Ryan.
Let's go. Did I fucking cover on it?
Yeah, you covered it. It's called Pokemon Snap, and you got like 200 views out of it.
We
Congratulations.
have more people watching this stream than people that watched the Pokemon Snap video that I fucking did. I, sacrificed my manhood to talk about Nintendo.
You like Pokemon? Shut the fuck up. You're a Pokemon fan. Shut the fuck up.
I like Pokemon fine.
Ryan actually pushed back my Squadrons video because he wanted to get that Pokemon video up as soon as possible. That's how excited he was for it.
No, I was excited because I thought that it was fucking #1 trending in the fucking world, and these fucking loser Nintendo fans would actually come and watch a fucking video. But they can't. They're literally just fucking glued to their shit, walking around. Fucking their mom's taking them to work because they can't go to school right now. Bing, bing, woohoo! Fucking gotta catch them all.
They're playing with the Joy-Cons in their hands in a Nintendo Labo headset, so the Switch is just always on them.
So again, as a Nintendo fan, I've never really been into Pokemon, but this announcement was huge. Holy shit, man! I mean,
people have been waiting for another Pokemon Snap game for years.
Yeah, this is huge news. So again, I'm always happy when the Switch has new content coming to it, and I think I think Nintendo's going to have some surprise announcements very soon when they do their next Nintendo Direct. But this Pokemon announcement came out of just nowhere, just like Paper Mario. And it makes you very excited to see what's coming next. But also we got Apex Legends, which that was, I guess, the standout for EA Play was the cross-platform for Apex Legends.
Yeah, that was the thing I liked the most about that show.
I mean, I'll be honest. Yeah, just seeing some of the gameplay with it and seeing how they're continuing to work on it. And much as I love Respawn, I do want to check out Apex Legends. I'm not that big of a battle royale fan, but I absolutely do love Respawn so much. So I mean, I don't know. You seem to like it a lot, Mark. Have you played it, Ace?
What's that? Apex Legends? No.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of battle royales myself. I do play Warzone. I play quite a bit of it when I'm not playing Destiny, but Warzone's the only battle royale I can take.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Now, Lethal, what about you? Have you played? You tried Apex?
I used to play it quite a bit with Twisted when I was playing it. I jumped on it for the first time in months the other night, got my shit pushed in. But the game's definitely had it's a good game. There's not really a whole lot to complain about it, but I'm not really a battle royale guy either, but it is good. I'd be up to play it if anyone wanted to play.
I definitely think I'm going to I think I'm going to give it a shot because it when it comes down to it is I think Respawn deserves all of our respect. And again, as much as I love Titanfall 1 and 2, Jedi Fallen Order, and this is really the only Respawn game I plays. That's the only 3 they have, right? Under the Respawn banner, Titanfall 1, 2, and Jedi Fallen Order, right? And then Apex Legends. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, recently, I believe,
yeah. So
technically Apex, oh crap, what was the name of it? Not Apex, Titanfall Assault. But that one they didn't do for EA, actually. It was before EA bought the studio. It was Nexon, I think is the name of the studio. It was like a real-time strategy game that was on mobile, iPad and PC, and it was actually I played a lot of it. It was actually pretty solid.
Yeah, so I really am. I mean, it's more so just time, but if it's Respawn and I want to support them in everything they do, and I'm hoping the more support they can get for this and any of their projects will eventually get that Titanfall 3 because that is what I want. That is what I want. Sir Ruin of House Roundhead. Jeremy, you're still playing Animal Crossing. Have you caught any sharks, scorpions yet? You might enjoy the game more catching those things. That's all I do is catch. It's all I do is fish in that game. But I haven't played it much lately.
I was just going to say, when's the last time you fucking turned that on?
I think about a week ago. So Animal Crossing is not typically my type of game. Neither is Minecraft. These world building games are not really my cup of tea. But Animal Crossing is fun for what it is. It's just not something I'm going to put an extensive amount of time into. But it is interesting. It's fun. It's relaxing. It's cool, and I do enjoy the fishing aspect of it. Fishing. Catching, different insects and shit like that. It's fun. But I do more fishing than anything. And Krista did a time jump, and so I went to her island and caught everything pretty much. I caught sharks. I caught every fucking type of fish imaginable. And that was what offended some people on Twitter is the time jumping. That really offended them really bad.
Cheating, I guess, technically.
So
yeah. X-Ray Girl loves the Animal Crossing. She's constantly fishing too, though.
You can fish in Minecraft, and it's an extremely important part of the game.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's how you get all the best spell books for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, Minecraft is another one. I mean, I've considered playing Minecraft multiple times, and I appreciate Minecraft for what it is. And obviously, it's a massive game, much like Animal Crossing. Massive.
I mean, the Ender update's on the 23rd. The next big update from Minecraft is coming up on Tuesday.
Yeah, they're just typically not my type of game. It's just not. That's just not the type of game I like to play. But I understand the appeal. Absolutely understand the appeal. And I'm glad many people are enjoying it. Animal Crossing just broke sales records like crazy.
Personally, I love building games. Fallout 4, their building was great. That's why I played No Man's Sky. That's why I played Minecraft. I love the games where you can just build your own stuff and just go nuts with it all.
Yeah, I get that.
Drunk Souls. That's what we should call it. Drunk Souls. I just realized Dark Side Droid super chat.
Holy shit! That's actually good.
Yeah.
Damn it, Mark. That's good.
No, it's Dark Side
Mark.
Droid.
It's Dark Side Droid super chat. When does Drunk Souls start? Make it happen.
We've been saying we're going to start it in July.
So Dark Side Droids gets credit. Okay, Drunk Souls. Okay, that you get full credit. I didn't see the super chat when he mentioned that. Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot is gonna. I'm hoping this weekend we're able to create that premium forum for members, so I can communicate directly with all of you. Because right now we don't have like a direct communication, and once we're able to streamline the communication, then we're going to talk about what we have planned, because we do have the Drunk Souls, which I'm going to officially name that in Dark Side Droids. You will get credit for it. It will be called Drunk Souls. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's right there too.
Yeah, it's so good. And then we're going to work on the stream with Krista, with GTA, obviously a Mario Kart stream that Ryan is he's just looking so forward to another Mario Kart stream added. But I will say this, we are I have greenlit, I don't even think I've told this to Ryan, but he'll be happy, but I'm officially greenlighting Rocket League is on Wednesdays now. It's a Rocket League Wednesday after having Frank and John join in, who are like really good compared to us pathetic losers. I think that there's a huge dynamic there. And so, and also we're adding, I'll do a private Q&A for our premium members once a month too. And more perks are going to be added. And the intent's to never really make more tiers. I just want to keep that at a flat $10. And I just want to, as long as that continues to grow, that number for premium members, I just want to continue to produce a ton of content for that $10 for all of you, because that's going directly to our website, and that's going to help Geeks and Gamers so much. And there's people giving more, which is it's an option we implemented where you can give more. You don't have to, it's $10 is the minimum, but you can give more. There are people that are taking advantage of that, which I greatly appreciate. But this weekend we're working hard to kind of really give you premium members more perks. So hopefully I'll have something for you by the end of the day or tomorrow.
Do I have to do anything at a certain number?
No.
Yes.
Now you have to
10,000 subs and Lethal Lightning switches to gaming PCs permanently. Never touches the console again.
You bought him when I should be fine with that. Jeffrey Turner, aka Mega Jetty 1 for $5. Since EA got Star Wars, we got Battlefront 2 ripoffs and a Rogue Squadron ripoff. Can we get LucasArts back so we can get the canceled games finished?
13.
Considering LucasArts doesn't exist anymore, probably not. And now the people working at Lucasfilms, I don't think you want them making your video games.
Nope.
But just before we move on from Drunk Souls, the current rules that Drunk and I said are that he's allowed to level grind between streams, but every time he's going to push between bonfires or fight a boss, that will be on stream.
Does Drunk know what that means?
Yeah, I'll explain it to him. I'm going to be explaining.
What does that mean? Why are you talking Chinese?
Drunks, I really don't want to play.
Subhuman for a $2 super sticker with a little fist bump. Thank you, Subhuman. Appreciate that. Mega Jetty again says, I stream GTA San Andreas if you want in on it. Well, thank you, Mega Jetty. Appreciate that.
Right on.
There you go. Do I get a statue if you donate? Then it can be torn down. Yes, Blue-Eyed Scorpio. Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're like a founding father of America, then that's true. Yes. But the way we usually end this, guys, is we go around the panel. We talk about what each of us are playing. Jeremy, we'll start with you. What have you been playing?
So I was really aggravated the other day because you remember the idea I told you about, Ryan? I told you I knew it wasn't going to get any views, but I was going to go ahead and record myself playing through the different cups on Mario Kart 8 to upload. So and it's just because I'm kind of anticipating for either DLC to come out for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Mario Kart 9 later this year or early next year or whatever. And so I'll do it all over again when a lot of that content is fresh. So I sat there and I went through 3 different cups. None of my audio transferred over. And I was dialed in because I'm like, I'm going to be on point. This is going to be, people are going to know this is me. I'm going to be on point. And I did 200cc as a matter of fact too. Won every race, 200cc, and none of my audio transferred over. I was so mad, so aggravated at that. And then that, and obviously I've still been playing Rory McIlroy PGA Tour because golf games, there's they're just really nice. It's really nice to just pick up a club and knock the patriarchy down.
Smash that main character's face.
That's right. So, yeah, I'm thinking about picking up Burnout Paradise Remastered on the Switch, though. I really love those arcade style racers. I still prefer Split Second to Burnout Paradise. So if you haven't played Burnout, I'm sorry, if you haven't played Split Second, isn't it available on
Steam? It is. It's on Steam and it is fairly cheap. It's $22.79 Canadian, so I'm guessing it'll be like $18.99 US.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Split Second is a true arcade racer, and it's so good. I love that game so much. But I do like arcade racers, so that's what.
If it has multiplayer, I will buy it so we can play it together. Oh no, it's single player only.
Yes, single player.
Nice. What about you, Lethal? What have you been playing?
I've started playing COD since the new season's come out, and I recently finished watching an anime called Kill la Kill, and then purely coincidence, I saw it pop up on the PlayStation Store, really, really cheap because they got that sale going on. So I picked that up, and I've been playing a bit of that. It's a fun little beat 'em up, a bit of an anime beat 'em up. It's good shit.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Mark, what about you? What have you been playing?
I have had to play a hell of a lot of Dead Cells for the review that I just finished making, mostly because Dead Cells is a game where you have random loadouts that you pick up in every run, and there's permadeath, so every time you play the game, you have to start from the very beginning, which means there's no save files for me to jump around to when I need specific footage, and if I want to show a specific type of loadout, I just have to hope I come across it. So I probably put about 10 hours into Dead Cells when I'd already finished what I thought capturing all my footage for the review. It's done now, though, so it should be up within the next couple days. I've also played a fair amount of Valorant because pretty much every time I've been frustrated or tired, I hop on Valorant to play a game or two. And I'm still liking that game quite a lot, despite its connections to the Chinese government via Tencent and stuff. I enjoy the game, so whatever is what it is. And this week, I want to get back on Xenoblade Chronicles to keep going with those playthroughs that we've been doing. I have not been playing The Last of Us 2. I've just been watching it. And I think I might fire up another kind of under-the-radar classic game to work on for another review. And I believe I'm going to do Warhammer 40K Space Marine. Get something really, really manly going for the channel on my next review.
Nice. That's awesome, actually. I dig that. Ace, what about you? What do you play? Tell everybody where they can kind of find you and what you'll be playing and kind of what they can expect.
As of right now, with the new Destiny season, I've been doing a whole lot of Destiny for that level grind. The pinnacle grind sucks, especially when you get boots over and over and over and over again. But that's what I've been working on now. I still have to play the Warzone new season. I got the season pass, haven't even started it yet. But I'm looking forward to going against all them vectors. Maybe Lethal, you can tell me about that. I heard the vector's a monster right now in Warzone.
Yeah, the vector's a beast of a gun.
So I'm waiting for the 24/7 shipment to level it up before I play again.
I've actually fired one of those in real life. They're fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
You can use Glock mags in them. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, but it's mostly just Destiny and Warzone. Oh, I'm sorry, guy.
No, go ahead.
No, okay. I was just saying it's just mostly Destiny and Warzone right now. I love single player games. If Last of Us 2 wasn't a complete shit show, I'd be playing that too. Yeah. So right now, just Destiny Warzone. I stream mostly every night on Twitch at AceOface05. We do raids, just the pinnacle grind. It's basically all the end game content. We might be doing the new Trials of Osiris tonight, maybe tomorrow. Not sure, but yeah, it's a good time.
I hear Osiris and my heart rate starts increasing.
Oh, it's the worst right now. I mean, I called it when they first announced it. I'm like, Trials of Osiris and Destiny 2. And I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a shit show. It's not gonna be like the first one. The way they did the rewards, the way they do the stupid token system. You have token farmers. You got people. It sucks, but we're gonna give it a try with the new season. Maybe get more people playing it. But as of right now, but by the end of last season, it was just nothing but people token farming and pub stomping other people. So it's just boring.
Well, I want to give Ace a shout out. Ace has, been just trying so hard to get involved with Geeks and Gamers for the longest, and was part of our Twitch channel before we really focused on the Twitch channel. And just tried so hard to stay in, and finally, I think, kind of got frustrated with me because I would hardly ever respond. And he's like, "Fuck this dude, man! This dude never responds. I'm doing everything I can." And so I do want to thank him for coming on and for everything you've done, over the years. You've been grinding.
No worries.
There might have been 3 fucking people watching that channel, and you're just grinding away. And so it's good to have you on. I think you're a great fit, and you bring a different dynamic to the table, and you don't bring up a frame rate every 2 seconds. That's always positive. So
We've already got one of those guys. Okay, we have a frame rate guy. We don't need another one.
Mark's getting defensive about his spot on the team.
There can be only one. I'm like the Highlander of frame rates.
Yeah.
Cut your head off.
I did put Ace's link to his Twitter channel is in the description, and I also just put it in the chat. So make sure to give him a follow over there and support him.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I also put the link to my Fuck Naughty Dog merch in there as well, because fuck Naughty Dog. It's been a great one, guys. It's a really good turnout and a great discussion. So Ace, thanks for joining us.
No worries, anytime.
Mark the Cyborg, Lethal Lightning, and canceled sick Jeremy. Thank you guys all for being here. It's been great. But
also, now that my PC is up and running, I don't have to stream for the PS4 anymore. I had to do that for a few days. That sucked. But PC's finally up and running, so everything's back online.
I got something to show real quick. This will make Ryan very happy. Let's see.
Is Ryan happy?
His trans character from Squadron.
Right there. There it is. Look at there. Super Nintendo World in Japan. Look at that. Yoshi actually walking. Look how authentic that looks. Imagine if we got a Star Wars land that was as authentic to Star Wars as this Nintendo world is to Nintendo. This is going to be awesome. Speaking of that, this is my segue into Park Hoppin', our theme park channel that I think they're going live. If they're not live right now, they're going. Huh?
Yeah, 8 minutes from now.
8 minutes. 8 minutes. Park Hoppin' is going live. I might hop over there to join them. I don't know if this is on the discussion for them, but yeah, man, that looks so cool. I cannot fucking wait. I can't wait for Super Nintendo World Japan. So good stuff.
Nice. I'm gonna put Park Hoppin' one more time before we do end it, guys. So there you go. Thanks for being here. We do appreciate all the support, all the love that you guys always give us. You're the best. And we will talk to you next time. Peace.
Fuck Naughty Dog.